Hey guys, Real Life here and welcome back to another episode of Entitled Parents. For this episode, we have quite a long story that I can't read all at once, so I'm gonna post it tomorrow. But it's a pretty crazy story about an entitled mom trying to steal a person's dog, and they're a service dog too, so that makes it even worse. And after being denied the dog, she makes racist comments to OP, who sounds Russian but isn't Russian. And then she makes a mess out of the entire place that OP works at, which is a McDonald's. Alright guys, enjoy! Scary Russian boyfriend fends off EP who assaults service dog by Reddit user Mayhem Anthem. Some background. I'm an American, born and raised, but my boyfriend, who I will always refer to as Sarge in my posts, is from Russia. We also have a dog who used to be Sarge's dog while he served him in the Russian military, but is now my service dog as we live together. His name is Comrade. Sarge didn't know what to name him when he got him, so he just called him Comrade, as in fellow companion, and the name just stuck. And he is a beautiful brown auburn black Estrella mountain dog. This happened like 2 or so years after Sarge moved to the US and got his citizenship. At this time, I had a few jobs. I tutored kids in musical instruments, strings and percussion, was a writer, and mostly for the hell of it, was the manager at a local McDonald's. Why? Easy money. I just had to supervise and make sure everyone was keeping clean, basically. I dealt with a spoiled parent every now and then, complaining about there isn't enough cheese or my kid wants this toy in their meal and stuff like that. But it wasn't very hard. Whenever I went anywhere outside the house, Comrade was with me. I have him for PTSD, paranoia, and anxiety. I also have FAS, foreign accent syndrome, which is related to the accident that caused PTSD and paranoia, but that's not why I have Comrade, although it is important to keep in mind for later. Although he was originally a military dog, Sarge trained him to be a service dog for me, and we got him certified, and he has the vest that says in giant letters, "Do not touch" and everything. During this time, Sarge was working as a dog trainer and a falconer, which is why he was so good with dogs. Anyways, when I was at Mickey D's, Comrade always did a nice job of sitting in the corner and behaving. The entire staff knew him and how much of a sweetheart he is despite his huge and menacing look and size. And since I was comfortable with it, they were allowed to feed him a few fries every now and then and also give belly rubs. They knew this. Usually whenever I was on break, Sarge would be between jobs and meet up with me so we could relax, have a little food, etc. This particular time, he happened to bring an owl. Her name is Emma. She's a barn owl who is actually not nocturnal. Into the place, and of course everyone was chill. Business was slow since during the time of the day, kids were at school and parents at work. And by slow, I mean it was completely empty except for the staff. The break was going as per usual until Emma began to get a little antsy on Sarge's arm. You know, because he was wearing one of those falcon gloves. He had to take her out for a bit and I was left with Comrade, who was sitting up next to me in the booth, looking like Chewbacca or something. I had my journal out and was scribbling something in it. I usually have my journal on me to write down random thoughts and pictures as a form of therapy. There are pretty poetic things in it, as well as some pretty gruesome excerpts and images. I was drawing one of those graphic pictures. A few minutes later, a mother, EM, and her son, who was about 6 to 8, EB, stroll in. They are now the only customers. Cool. EB notices Comrade right away, because from the other side of the establishment I hear an excited gasp. I peek up and my thoughts are confirmed. EB looks ecstatic. EM smiles too and ushers him to the counter so they can order. I smile too as I look back to my journal. I love kids, and even more than that, I love making them happy. Unsurprisingly, about a minute later when they finished ordering and paid, the boy was standing in front of the booth with wide eyes. Keep in mind that I am sitting next to the wall and Comrade is sitting on the other side of me. He is fanboying next to the table and chuckles. He still hasn't said anything. Ian walked over and EB squealed, "I want to pet that dog!" I'm still smiling at this point because kids get me in my soft spot. In the beginning, the mom was chill. "Sorry, sweetie, that's a service dog. Can't touch," and the child pouts. "Actually, you can pet him if you like." Remember when I mentioned that I have FAS? Yep, right now I had a Russian accent. "He's quite friendly, mate. His name is Comrade. I probably look like the most Russian on the face of Russia, with an accent, and a badass dog named Comrade. EB squeals again and pets the great dog gently by his scruff. EM seems impressed and goes to pet him too. See, I let them have a pet because although he is technically working, 1. I hate disappointing people in general and especially kids. 2. I suck at confrontation. And 3. He's pretty good about not getting distracted anyway, so I figure all is well. And all is going well until... Mom! Look how cool! He's so cool! I want him! I chuckle and half expect the mom to as well. But instead... Well, you know how we get things, don't you? By asking nicely! Turns to me. Can I buy your doggy, please? I was pretty taken aback, so I assumed this was a joke, although EM wasn't laughing. Sorry boy, he's not for sale. I need him to get by day to day. I said this with a chuckle and a smile, since I thought it was a joke after all. EB looks confused and EM looks like I was the one joking. Oh, come on now. It's not like you need him or anything. I mean, obviously, if he was that important to you, you wouldn't let us pet him. Not so much of a working dog then, huh? Points to his vest. I am now anxious. Comrade, sensing this, shuffles closer to me, which prompts EB to cling to his service vest, not wanting him to move away. Hey, let go. But I asked nicely. Sorry, but seriously? EM looks appalled, like I admitted to murder or something. Did you just yank my son away? I'll have you know that EB is at the top of his class and has been wanting a dog for a while now, Missy. Ruffled EB's hair. It's about time he get a dog, and my boy wants this one. Again, I'm sorry to disappoint, but he is my companion. My boyfriend happens to train dogs if you like, but I can't give... EM clicks tongue, looks down to EB. And this is why we don't like the Russians, EB, because they're selfish and arrogant. Looks to me. You're really going to deny my baby that much? Ugh, you should be ashamed of yourself. Wait a minute, aren't communists supposed to share anyways? Huh, selfish. Your boy is so smart and yet he doesn't understand what a service dog is? I can see he takes after his mother. Boy, EM looked like she could have slapped me. Now I'm pissed instead of shy, and all these snappy comebacks come flooding in. EM's face turns red. Excuse you? What gives you the right, you immigrant? Now I could slap her. Ugh, all you Russians are the same. Poor, petty, greedy, and horrible mean people. Cossack. By now my accent had diminished, but I felt like I should keep talking Russian. Why? Because the thing I learned after a few years of having FAS is that people are less likely to f with you if you're Russian or sound Russian. Everyone's just straight scared of Russians. That seemed to go over the head of this woman. But another reason I had decided to keep it up because she'd probably make a bigger scene if I randomly dropped the accent I had. And you expect me to hand over my comrade when you call me a I knew then that I was f***ed. I had started off forcing a Russian accent as planned, but I accidentally turned it into a French one. EM points finger over to my dog at my face. Aha, you lying little b****. You want to deny my son a dog that you selfishly don't need while lying to my face about it? You crazy mashugana. At this time, Sarge had walked back in with Emma on arm, confused and oblivious to what was going down. All he heard was me call this psycho a mashugana and saw how red her face was. All the while, Comrade was extremely on edge. He briskly walks over. Now, I need to pause for a minute. When I titled this post Scary Russian, that was kinda the equivalent of written clickbait. In actuality, Sarge is a teddy bear, like an actual lump of sugar. He's very patient and charming to talk to, but lots of people are intimidated from his big build and thickish Russian accent. But be warned, he becomes very cold when he gets angry, even though that's not often because again, lots of patience. Although even though he wouldn't hurt a fly, people don't know that, and he is also pretty defensive when it comes to me. Back to the story. Sarge steps between Comrade and I and the entitled duo. May I help you, madam? EM eye rolls. Ugh, another fake Russian I suppose? And with a hawk. Alright, we're gonna stop right here and come back to it tomorrow. Have a great day, guys.